Alright everybody, today I'm going to show you guys how to make some wavy guitar beats, all from scratch in FL Studio. I'm going to make sure to break down the whole melody from scratch in a step-by-step process, so you guys can get a really good understanding of how to recreate a similar sound. Make sure to watch the whole video because I will do some super cool processing and show you guys some sauce with the effects and the melody, and then we'll also add some crazy drums at the end. So let's not waste any more time, let's just jump right in. Alright, so we're now here in FL Studio 21, as you guys can see. First things first, we want to pick a guitar VST. In this case, I've actually opened up this Sketch nylon guitar. It has a bit of a unique sound, so you guys can test this one out if you haven't already. But with that being said, the sound is a little bit dry to start off with. So what I have done is I've just opened up my guitar VST processing effect. So what I have done is that I've just opened up my guitar effect preset already right here. It's pretty much an effect preset that I use for all VST type of guitars, just very standard effects. Pretty much just the NS1 to reduce some of the noise, some simple EQ and delay, and then we have a RC20 just using the Vinyl 3 preset. But the change I do with this is that I turn off the noise. Don't really like having that hissing in the background, as you guys could hear. So we're just turning that off, and then we're just having some simple reverb at about 12% just to add a bit of ambience, and an EQ at the end to really cut out the low frequencies right there. Not really too much with the effects, but that's just the first thing we do for our standard guitar VST, and then we can really spice it up later on. I'll show you guys how to do that. But from here, we're just going to open up our piano roll and we're going to start laying down our melody. Now this is pretty much where everything goes down, so make sure you guys watch this carefully. What we're going to do is open up our scale, and we're going to go with D minor in this case. It doesn't really matter too much, as you guys know, you can pretty much change this later on. Let's just start off with D. I like using D when it comes to guitars. And from here, since we are in the D minor, we're just going to start off with a root note right here. And what we're going to do with this root note is we're actually also going to copy that. So let's just copy it on the same exact place and pitch it up by 2 octaves. So we're going to have one at the D4 and one at the D6 hitting at the same time. But what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in and make sure this isn't hitting exactly at the same spot. So just hold Alt on your keyboard and move it slightly off grid so it has a more realistic sound to this. And just to start off with, go in on the velocity right here and make sure to already start lowering the velocity. The reason why I like doing this is because it has a way softer feel to the guitar. It's just going to give you a way cleaner sound overall. Don't worry if it's a little bit low in volume. You can easily boost this up with some processing later on, or just boost up the volume in general. But when the guitar is played softer, it just has a way cleaner sound. So what we're going to do from here, this is pretty much our bass. We have these 2 notes, and then everything in the middle right here is pretty much where we're going to fill out everything. So since we are kind of already just using the D notes, let's do the same thing again in the middle with a D5 right there. But this one we can obviously just extend out a little bit so we can kind of have more of that movement to the whole pattern. So I'm gonna put this D right here, and then we're pretty much just gonna build off of this. As you guys can see, all of the highlighted notes are the notes we can use. So let's just start messing it a little bit around and see what really sounds nice. So for now I have this right here. So that's pretty much that start to the wavy sound. As you can hear, it's a little bit moody and wavy at the same time, which is super cool. So it kind of gives that future or that more of that dark Metro Boomin guitar vibe. So it doesn't even really have to sound that realistic, but again, we're just going to mess a little bit around with the velocity, just because that authentic feel, even though we're using a VST, it just helps give off a better vibe. Now, even though this note isn't really in key, it still sounds super cool in my opinion, but of course you can mess around with the note and just try to put it somewhere else. Something like that. You can really mess around with it and just see how it sounds. But from here, we want to fill out our second 2 bars as well, or the last 4. What we're going to do is just copy that over, and we're going to do a few adjustments. So let's shorten this top note right there, and instead of having it hit at the D again, we can maybe pitch it down to, let's try the A sharp or the A as well. We just have to see. So you can kind of keep that consistent as well, or you can do a few changes towards the end. In this case, we're using a lot of these half steps right here to really keep that tension and make sure that this is still sounding a bit moody. And by the way, what I also did right here with these 2 notes, I again really pretty much just strummed them over each other and then moved it slightly off grid again, so you kind of get that different type of sound while they're still hitting at the same time, but you're just moving it slightly off grid, like I said. Now it's towards the end right here, I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. This right here is super saucy. What you guys can do is just go over to the magnet tool and go over to 3rd beat, and then towards the end just put it right here in between one of the bars, pretty much just a half bar, and you're gonna split it into 3 notes. So just split it like this and then copy it over 3 times. Maybe it's actually like this, copy it over 3 times. Yeah, then you're gonna get pretty much 3 notes hitting exactly in a half a bar. With that, you can actually lower the velocity and it's gonna give you a super cool sound. And then mixing up with these top notes as well. That's really what's going to give you more of that wavy feel together with the moody vibe. So it's really those triplets right here. And then I pretty much just pitch them up instead of having them down here. I pretty much just pitch them up in the higher frequencies right here. Pretty much again, just giving you that wavy type of sound. And making sure you fade the velocity as well. Perfect. And then we're just going to switch it a little bit up towards the end. And that's pretty much going to be it for the pattern. So here we pretty much have the whole pattern. Adding some more notes over here as well and just doing a few more adjustments pretty much. So from there, what we're going to do right now is add one more guitar layer. And the way I would like to do this is by adding some sort of riff we can use, maybe find something in Arcade. So what I've actually heard is a cool little new riff in Arcade. Let me just open this up and hit guitars right here. And then if you guys can see in this new section, we have this faded horizon preset. And if we just pick the right key that we're working in, which is D minor, we can find something cool like this. Or maybe a riff like this, which you can pretty much just have underneath our main guitar. Alright, so we're gonna keep this little guitar riff right here. But what we need to do is we need to add some effects to really make sure this blends in. So I'm going to open up RC20 first. And in the RC20 section, you guys have seen me use this many of times. It's the Magnitude Transition 1. Pretty much hands down the best preset to really blend together sounds. So when we have this on, really blends the sound nicely. Let's try to tuck it in a bit with some EQ as well. Just gonna be a bit of a layer. With this, I'm also gonna open up Pancake 2. If we can find that right there. Make sure this pans from left to right a bit faster also, so with that, we're gonna add some more elements, really make sure everything blends in and really gives us that wavy type of sound. So one thing I really like doing with this is adding some reverse elements. And the way we're gonna do this is by using one-shots. I've shown you guys this trick before, but make sure that you check this out if you haven't already. You're just gonna use a one-shot. What I'm gonna do is open up the Motion bundle kit. If you guys haven't checked out my kit, it literally has a lot of different sections to the whole kit. It's a bundle kit, so it has a drum kit, MIDI kit, one-shot kit, and a sample pack. Now in this one-shot section, I'm gonna head over here and pretty much you can pick any type of sound. Since we are already on the vibe of using guitars, I might just pick a one-shot guitar sound. Maybe something like this. Pretty much perfect. Let's just drag that in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to open it up, turn off loop points, but you don't really have to do anything else to this. All we're going to do is just hit the reverse section. And with that, we're pretty much just going to go back to our root note. Since we were using D, we're just going to pretty much put this in and just slice it up in half. You can pitch it up a bit so it hits faster, or pitch it down so it kind of transitions out slower. But let's just take a listen to how it sounds right now. Yeah, so you guys can hear the reverse sound. It doesn't sound that good right now, but trust me, we're gonna fix this with some cool processing. Like I said, the processing is gonna be super sauce on this one. So it is still a little bit slow. I feel I wanted to kind of hit right there in the middle. So the way we're gonna do that is just by going in and trimming it a little bit right there. So I think we can use it like this right here. I think we can use it like this. As you guys can hear the sound isn't too good because we still haven't added that effect, but the timing is pretty much clean. So what we're going to do right now is make sure to open up the mixer, find out sound, and we really want to drench it out with reverb and add some cool little processing to it. So for the reverb, just add a lot of roam. And you can hear just with that reverb, it already sounds way better. Now you also want to make sure to EQ this out. This really helps the sound not be too harsh. That's pretty much perfect right there. And with this, you can really experiment as well. So we can maybe try opening up Portal. And then since I already have this Mirage multi-kit Portal bank, I'm just gonna test some of the presets out. Ooh, that's fire, bro. Okay, I really like that right there with the Portal. So we're already starting to really fill this melody out, but there's still a lot of things we can do to this. Now I really want to add some more vocals to this to kind of fill out the whole thing. Again, we're going to open up Arcade for vocals, usually go with distant voices or hooked. In this case, I just found this CU preset in hooked, and these phrases we have right here. And we're just going to test out a little bit of a different phrase towards the end of the second part. So with the vocals, alright, super wavy, super moody vibe. Last thing we're gonna do is pretty much just add a few layers. I think we can either add some keys or maybe just some cool little sounds in the back. Alright, so I pretty much just copied this sound from the guitar over to a piano. So I just opened up the softest preset in Keyscape, Omnisphere, but what I think I'll do is I'll test out a few different sounds as well. Dude, literally the first preset I hit sounds super fire. This right here, we're going with this one. To add a cool sound, I'll try to do some cool stuff with the processing as well. Firstly, let's open up Kickstart 2 to give it more of a pulse. Alright, this gives it a cool sound. Let's add some reverb as well. Alright, so what I'll also do with this one is I actually pitched up the whole thing by 1 octave just so it's in the higher frequencies, since I will add a halftime. And when we add the halftime, it kind of gives it a deeper and lower sound. So we're going to have this halftime, but the cool thing we're going to do with this is that we're actually going to turn on and off the effect throughout the whole beat. So we can really kind of differentiate between the two different sounds, almost like we're using two different elements. But it's basically just a simple one sound with one effect on and one effect off. So I'm going to show you guys some cool stuff on how you can do that. But that's pretty much it for the melody. With all that being done, it's time that we add some drums. As for the drum sounds I'm using, they're of course coming from both the Motion Bundle Kit and the Mirage Multi-Kit. So if you guys still haven't checked out any of the kits, make sure to do so. They're all on my website, which is BBMarko.com, or you guys can just click the first links down below. So I'm pretty much just going to open up a standard open hat to start off with. Pretty much just go with a simple hit right there, and then we're pretty much just going to want to start off with the claps. Just add a classic little clap right there. Start putting these down and it's going to sound super fire. Yeah, there we go. Next we're going to add some hi-hats. Let's do it simple for ourselves. Just gonna open up the MIDI section in the kit, drag in one. Dude, literally wavy sound already. That's fire. Let's go. Turn the out knob up a bit. Kind of doing more of that similar triplet style towards the end of the kick. Really cool bounce, and then it switches right here. Now let's add that bass. Gonna add a bit of a pause. That's kind of hard. So we have it like this. With those pauses and pitched up 808s as well. Right, so that's pretty much it for the beat. I'm quickly going to arrange the whole thing and I'll take you guys through a final listen. Alright, so here we have the full beat.
Shut up, Marko.
808 in the intro. Really sets the standard right away. Then it drops in. Vocals come in. Super wavy vibe right here. Then we switch the halftime in. So you can really hear how it almost sounds like a different sound. Just a halftime automation on this sound right there. Verse. Drops right in. Then we actually remove the guitar right here. Just switching the vibe a bit. Back in with the vocals also. We have somewhat of a bridge. Pretty much the same as the intro. That 808 really hitting, punching through. And we have the hook again.